Good evening, everyone. You're very welcome to join me here this evening on Bridges of Light. Ciao to my Italian friends, and bonjour to French friends, and everyone else. You're very welcome to join me this evening as we continue on the journey of exploring our life's journey, exploring the soul's journey. Is there a difference? No, there's not, because we're on our soul's journey. We're on a journey that's about learning, about being here for other people, and also accepting the help from other people. It's a journey that it's interactive. I always say sometimes we're the pupils, sometimes we're the teachers. And it doesn't matter what our role in life is, that's the reality of it. So it's nice when we just come together and we blend our energies together here this evening, and that's what I really look forward to it, because it brings up the whole concept of what it is to give. To give what, hi Bernie, you're very welcome, to give support and to give something that's so precious, and yet it costs absolutely nothing. So today we're going to look at signposts. It's time to lower this. We're going to look at signposts in our lives. And those signposts sometimes I'll just put this on. I don't want it to knock it off altogether, because then when I do want it, I won't have it. It's like the rest of my skills with technology, non-existent. It's gone on to the dark screen, so I'm not seeing what's happening with it. Right. Thankfully that worked. That's okay now. It's ready for later on. What happens, we have a number of signposts that comes our way throughout life. We don't always acknowledge those signposts, and we don't sometimes want to, sometimes we just don't find them. But signposts in our lives comes in many different ways that we never think of. It could be someone maybe saying a word to you, someone just coming your way and being around in your life for a while, and it can draw you to seeing a different aspect to living your life. And I think no matter the signposts, hi Helena, you're very welcome, and Leslie, you got in, no problem this time. When we have, when we're meant to go a pathway, sometimes the signposts are so thin that we don't even know where it's going to take us. And it's very easy to ignore it. But as we go through day to day, week to week, and so on, it eventually keeps coming back in different ways. And something that happened me this week, and you probably know this, Gio, but I take in the music through the telly, so it's on all day. I put it on at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I enjoy now being at home and able to listen to it. But I enjoy the music that comes in on YouTube, and I put in different genres of music. On Wednesday it was Frank Sinatra. It can be anything. It can be the old rock and roll. It can be anything. But like that, I had Frank Sinatra on, and it went on then to country music, American country music, and I just thought, these sound nice. No, I'm not American country music at all. I just think the key's a bit high and it can grate a little bit. But that's just my feeling. But there was a duo called the Judds, the Judds duo. I suppose you know all about them. I'd never heard tell of them before. I listened and I actually sat down for a while. It was their farewell concert because the mother has an incurable health condition, and this was their last concert. And it was really it was excellent music, loved it. So that was fine. I even said something to a friend about how I found them, and I knew she would probably know them because they would be into American country. But my other foible would be that in the morning I'm waking up very early, and rather than getting up because I don't go to bed early, I would lie in bed and put on telly. And the show Touched by an Angel was on. And I was watching that, and here this girl appears on it. She was one of the guest actresses on it. And it was the girl, the daughter of the Judd group, of the Judd duo. Say that with a few drinks in. But, you know, I didn't know them until Wednesday. And here on Thursday morning, here is one of them in my bedroom, of course. But, you know, there's something there that says this is a time to do something. What it is yet, I don't know. But it's more than a coincidence, the fact I never heard tell of them. And it wasn't even my interest, the American country music. So these are things that happen us along the way that they're unexplainable. But at the same time, they carry something. They carry some essence of a message somewhere along the line. If you stop to think, just at the moment now, just stop to think of someone who's come into your life that has brought you into this awareness of your spiritual journey. Just stop for a moment and think. That person hasn't a clue of how they influenced you. It means nothing to them. It could have been something they said. But it's something that actually has made life for you put you in a better place. Because everything is not what's going on in your head. You see life from a different perspective. These signposts that we get can come from the simplest of events, the simplest of mistakes. Sometimes that we feel they're mistakes. They can come from something that happened, a thought reflecting on something that happened years ago. This is how our spirit works. It's no great, what would you call it, anatomy of life as such. It's the fact that you're present here and now, and as you're present here and now, you're going to have a journey that's going to take you its different pathways. And in the meditation tonight, what we will be doing will be going from the beginnings, your beginnings, and taking you through. It's something that if you think of the challenges is what cuts the edges off us. It takes the mind and tends to, I suppose, even it out. We have a lot of expectations that we put on ourselves when we're young in life. We expect to be able to do all great things in materialistic things. And we don't see the greatness that's in or the spiritual dimension of ourselves. And that's something where we can actually miss a lot of things that can be a signpost, but nevertheless, that's the journey. I know going back 20 years ago when I started going to circles when I was in England, there was very few young people. It was all the White-haired Brigade, as we became known as. It was people who had life's experience behind us, and that's what brought us into it. If you notice now that there is nearly 50-50 now of people who are under 40 and are interested in getting involved in their awareness, their development. And that is absolutely fantastic. It shows how our world is making us more aware. It shows too, in recent times, we have just so many obstacles in our way, but yet and all there are ways over obstacles. And last week I attended a funeral that was in England. It was streamed over the internet. I attended, it's a service, we would call it, last night in London. I was sitting in my armchair and attended it. So life has brought us this way now so that we can become aware of just how spirit can work with us. And for all that people are worrying about work and all that goes with our day-to-day life, that presents all the problems of the day. If we could just sit with those people who are worried and sit with them and just listen, and that's one of the greatest healers. Because the healing is all that really matters to the people that's suffering from despair, loneliness, suffering from illness. You know, we don't know what it's like for them. And we should never assume what it's like for them either. So when we're given, when you sit with someone who has a problem of whatever nature, that in itself can be, the healer, the signpost of the healer. The person that needs just to know that someone cares, that they're not on their own. There's some, on Facebook, you see some really horrendous situations people are in so many different ways. Children very, very ill, people very, very ill, and it's heart-wrenching when you see what people are going through. But what can we do? We can just give them healing, send healing to them, because that's the gift that you can give to someone. That lovely power that is available to us to serve our friends, our neighbours, our family, whoever is in need. Hi Evelyn, lovely to see you. So the signposts come in that way. It can be that person coming and saying something that can make you aware that this is something I have that I can do. I know in many ways there's all talk about healing and qualifications in healing and the need, to have these qualifications. And that is true to some extent because of liability. If someone did decide that they were the worse after you treated them, so that's where qualifications comes in. But when you sit with a neighbour, isn't that what they did long, long ago? They visited each other's homes in the evening time. They listened to the moans of the neighbour or the family member. And then they sat and they were quite happy afterwards. They shared their problems. Today, in this world, there is that situation where few people has time to listen. And when that happens, it isolates the people that are actually in need. So look at, did anyone, or any of you online at the moment, did any of you ever kind of say, this was a turning point in my life? Yes, they gave time, Evelyn. They did, and we seem to have lost that gift of time and that gift of caring. And it's not that we don't care as such. We can say we're thinking of someone, and within that thinking of someone, we may have a feeling of empathy, but the person needs more than just empathy at times, because they can feel very lost and very, very isolated within circumstances, and the house can be full. I know going back in time, I have a big family, and going back in time where I was surrounded by my children, and they were great, but I never felt so lonely. And I've never felt, from that time to this, I've never felt so lonely as I was at that time. So it's not the physical aspect, it's actually the spiritual. This is where the spirit rises within us, and it gives us that awareness. Like at that time, I'm going back 1990. You can, I'll leave that for you to count up yourselves. At that time, I wasn't aware of, how I could work on a spiritual level, but it brought me there. It brought me the following year to becoming aware of the spiritual aspect of myself. So the signposts along our pathway has sometimes the little bit of, we'll say, a kick in the pants. Maybe sometimes more than a little bit. But it can be difficult. But that's what drives us. Evelyn, yeah, and that's lovely. I'm so grateful for the time and experience I spent with my uncle from March. We shared time and we laughed. And he went home yesterday. Bless him on his journey as he goes towards the light. And that's the great gift you give him, because that shone his light. And this is where we can give when someone passes over. We can, we get caught up in our feelings of grief, but we can actually give them the strength to go towards the light and help them to see life from the other side then, because you can imagine it can be quite daunting, and because we maintain our consciousness when we pass over, because that's part of the system that we work with in communication. We maintain, because they have to be able to remember when they start to come through, and as spirit coming through with messages, we have to be able to recognize them, so that they maintain the consciousness through their journey, and that's where the light actually helps them so much, that it was a great gift to give, and he also gave you a great gift. So it's where we are that we can see these things, and see them without the fear and without the trappings that goes with commercialization in whatever way you look at it. Leslie, yeah, I know. You see, one of the great things is we are universal. You strip us down of all the events that has influenced us to bring us to where we are today. You strip us down of that. And our needs are all the same. All the same. There's no difference. We need love. We need to be nurtured. And when we step out of the mind game and where people can destroy us just with a word, we become aware that we have the key to love. We have the key in here, in our hearts, to love ourselves, that no one can destroy. And it's something that if we all took that on board, through the hard times especially, that there's nothing that can destroy the essence of who we are. Excuse me, I'm croaking here a bit. Don't worry, I'm not going to croak it. But, pardon me. The essence of love comes just from being, and it's, as Evelyn said there, it's just be with the person. It can be so precious. And I know from knowing some of you online at the moment, I know there is some elements that is difficult at this present time for different reasons. And it's, someone just to open up your hearts and your minds to be able to talk to someone. Because it is difficult when you're in this place that you feel vulnerable and you feel that you can't annoy someone. You don't want to be annoying them by talking about your problems. That's something that we actually, we need to change in ourselves, because we could be possibly denying someone from going into that dimension of being the healer by listening. So sharing your problems, talking about them, going back to the old ways, going to someone who you know can listen. And I've said it before, I'm always here. The group is small, so it's no problem. Just to be aware that healing takes place not always in the doctor's surgery or in the hospital or in a counselling room. It's available in many places outside of the norm of what we expect. Is there any questions? Because I think it might be nice to go into the meditation early, because I have a nice meditation lined up, and usually I don't have any idea of what is going to happen in the meditation, but there's some of it I do know, and that's unusual to be directed that way before the evening starts. So that's why I say it might be nice to go into it a few minutes early. Any questions before I move into that? And while you're thinking of writing the questions, I'm not going to continue. Hi, Iona, how are you going on? Lovely. And I'm going to discontinue the readings on the last Friday of the month, because it's very difficult to keep the flow going. It just doesn't work easily because of the time lapse, because someone can be on and then lose the connection. And at the moment, I'm not going to continue with them. If we find an easier way for it to flow, yeah, but not at the moment. It's just doesn't feel right. Tried it. That's it. We'll see how. It's lovely, Ona. Lovely to see you here. We're going to do a meditation, or we're going to start on our meditation. Is everyone nice and relaxed and chilled out and ready to work? All right, ready to go on a journey. No. I will go up to the beginning because we have a little bit more time. So just find yourself sitting nice and comfortably with the phone off. I don't know whether I can tell. I have a cough, and one thing is safe distancing. There's no problem. But I just hope I'll move away if I do have a couple of coughs coming in. Okay, just find yourself nice and comfortable sitting in the chair. Someone sent up a laugh there. Just to get yourself that you're upright, your back is upright, and that you have the reason for your back being upright is that when you breathe in, your breath goes down through the energy points of the chakras in your body, whereas when you're slumped over, your heart and your solar plexus is more or less together. So when you're upright, everything is so clearer and so much clearer flow. Okay, so now just sit in your chair, become aware of your breath. Just breathe in, and as you breathe in, just be aware of any tension that you're feeling in your body. And with the outward breath, release and relax. And this evening's journey is about your journey through your life. So just sit with your eyes closed and just become aware of where you've come from to where you are now. And as we move through those times, we'll work on healing anywhere you feel healing is needed. So we're going to open up our hearts and our minds and collectively work together. So just blend your energies now. Just direct your energy to come together as a group. Coming together as a healing group. And now again, just focus on your breath. Being aware that as you breathe in, you're breathing in the breath of life. And as you breathe out, you're letting go of the past and being in the present. Just being aware of your beauty within your soul, that essence of who you are. And as you're in that awareness, you're going to take your mind into an area that's like a large national park. Fields as far as you can see, beautiful trees. You hear water flowing on the river. And in the distance, you see aircrafts. these journeys are taking place in your mind. So anyone that has any fear, there is no need to fear. You're all the time in control. Just visualize taking off your shoes and just being in direct contact with Mother Earth. That sense of energy that's coming from the ground up through into your feet, through your legs, right up into your body, and just breathing in that energy. And as you're walking, you become aware of a trickle of water, just those drops that has come together just out of the depths of the earth. The new beginnings representing your new beginning in this life. There's that beautiful place where you feel totally at ease, relaxed, and at one with yourself. And now as you continue to walk down the pathway of where the water seems to be flowing to, it's joined by other streams that's coming together and creating a flow of water that it's like taking you on a journey. The journey that has taken you into your teenage years. The years of awareness and sense of who you are. But also the time where you find that you're coming into responsibilities. Time where you make choices for yourself. And for anyone who has feelings of loss, feelings of guilt, feelings of just that things wasn't right, they didn't make the right choices. Just stay with those feelings now, because you know that they can't do anything to you. But what we're going to do collectively is in healing, to heal those times where we tend to hold against ourselves. And just stand by the bank of that stream and just allow your hands to go in and feel the flow of the water flowing. Your hands are cutting that flow and allowing it to take away any pain. Those events didn't stop the water from flowing. So the healing is taking place. Now, as the water flows, it joins more streams and becomes stronger. So the flow of water has more energy, more time for looking at what it is and where we should be going. So just listen to the sound of the water. Listen to the feeling that it's rushing to get somewhere. The power that's coming behind it. And at this time in our lives, we're the young adults who have been carried away with the flow, where we feel that we are making choices that will influence our lives. It's time to relax now. Relax within that framework of when you were in your early 20s. Just being aware that this is all in the past. And it's about healing. Feelings that things didn't go the way you want. Things that was either said or done that influenced your life, that you would prefer was different. So don't be afraid to come to terms with that now. It's okay. It's a safe place. And again, direct it into the center of the group. And ask for the healing guides to come in now. And they start to bring in their awareness very gently. Just allow them feel what it is you're feeling at this moment in time. Just being aware that you're listening to that power of the water, that strength that took you from the trickle that surfaced on the ground, built into a stream that gradually was joined by more streams, led into a river. But it's okay, you're still in control. Now as you travel with that river, you come to a lake, and the water that was flowing fast and free is now into the lake, nice and calm. And this is the time now where we are here. Doesn't matter what age we are. We are here at this point in time. Again, ask your guides to draw close. If it's your angels of healing that you work with, ask them to draw close. Just come together in this beautiful energy. Now there is one special intention that you're asking for healing. One very special intention. Don't get carried away with asking for a few, just focus on the one. And just ask your guide or angel for healing. Just be aware of the miracle that you are and the miracle that you're surrounded by. From that trickle of water, that you follow the pathway, that you're now in a lake that has millions of droplets of water, just the same as the beginning of your journey. So along this journey now, You can choose whether you want to go on a boat on the lake, or if you want to look at your life from an overview. You choose. There's no right or wrong. So you either choose to get onto a boat and drift on the lake, or you can use an aircraft, let it be a helicopter, let it be a plane, makes no difference. It's just something that you're able to look at life with an overview of where you've come from and where it's taken you, and choices that you're going to make. So just choose and begin this aspect of your journey now. Just observe everything that you're seeing around you. Breathing in that beautiful fresh air that is giving you the breath of life. Now this time you're going to invite your guide that has always been by your side, always been there for you. You're going to invite your guide to draw very close to you. Become aware of their presence. Just become aware of that energy. It can feel like a breeze. It can feel like them standing behind you, putting their arms around you and carrying you. It's just feeling that essence of energy. And you ask them to walk the path with you, helping you to become aware of their presence. They are always there, but most often we don't actually be aware of it. But just ask them that as they walk with you, to give you the awareness, give you something that makes you aware of them walking beside you. So now, just as you're walking back to the shore, or on the boat, or on the plane, sorry, I had lost track there, you come back to the shoreline, or back to where you're landing your plane. And just to come back gradually as you're walking, feel yourself walking on the grass. Come back into awareness of where you're sitting. And move your fingers and toes and follow that movement through your arms and legs and through your body. But if you can, just stay in that suspended place. So just to allow yourself to be open to the healing. It's quite funny. I had to get carried away, like time-wise. I wasn't even aware of the time. I just say I had to blame Richard with that music because I'm always it's the music I use for my meditations. This session was a bit different. It was actually more direct healing than we have done in the past. I feel for one of the main areas that there was healing was in the chest and the stomach areas, was really very pronounced in the healing session today. So I hope whoever is suffering with that, you're very welcome, Evelyn. So I get carried away when you just have to kind of go with. I had you walking back off the water of the boat, but yeah, his music is. I love his music, and I have to get the other CD of him. And the lovely thing about this music is I don't have to pay when I use the other music. The what do you call it? The rights, the whatever you call it, the copyright. They got on to me that I was using music that was copyright on it, and the guy that composed it, a lovely guy too, I know him, but he says it's just too complicated to use it outside of copyright. So this Richard I met some years ago in the college. I know I've been in touch with him a few times over the years, and he just sits and he will do a CD for me. All I have to do is do the meditation, and he will compose the music around my meditation, So that's something on the to-do list. Lavkesh, how are you? And you just came in at the very end of it, but you're very welcome. It's just maybe stay in for the few minutes we have in an empty community hall where a book club was supposed to happen. Oh, but maybe it's Ona. It is. Yeah. I'm glad I got time on my own to listen to you. Ah, lovely. It was lovely talking to you the other night. Yeah, my thing about my belief, and anyone that knows me will always hear me saying it, you are where you're meant to be. Sometimes that's for the good, and sometimes you wonder what it's all about. Thanks, Leslie. Thank you. And you know, if you just stay with it, but please just open up your hearts to the help that's there, the essence that can feel like someone very close to you. And like our loved ones, like Evelyn and our uncle, you know, our loved ones makes their presence felt, especially within the time close to in the past, because they haven't fully kind of got the energy right together, we'll say. There's still some of it here for a while, and that's why people will say they heard them talking, or they heard the footsteps. It's just that the essence, and it's that consciousness that I talked about earlier, that's still part of them here. So it's very much to be aware of that other dimension. You don't have to understand it. You just open up your hearts and your minds, because there's nothing to worry about. Like attracts like, so there's nothing dark or sinister going to be attracted to you, because there's no benefit in taking someone to the dark side. There is the dark side, and I'm not dismissing it, but they don't have any interest in us because we're no good to them. Just be aware that they are with you, and that's important. That's important at this point in time for some more than others. Yeah, and it's I'm just saying yes to Evelyn. Sorry, I honestly believe that. I think you can read it anyway. I'm not sure, but just in case. Near restful waters, I am led to review. Sorry, my glasses. Revive my drooping spirit. Yeah, and it is so. Water is a great healer. Mariella, how are you? I knew your live was 9 p.m. No, sorry. See, it's 8 p.m. and that's why when I post a half an hour beforehand, I have to go anyway. It's 8 o'clock here. I'm 7, Mariella, in UK time, Irish time. It's 8 o'clock in Italian time. So I'm an hour earlier than your Italian time. So sorry you missed out. But you can get it on replay, and then it will be later on YouTube at some point. I would say good night. It was strange talking about good night at this stage now. It's when the evenings are pulling in. I look forward to seeing you all next week. In the meantime, have a lovely week and a lovely weekend. And don't do anything I wouldn't do. That gives you plenty of scope. Take care, and blessings on you all.